highly anticipated thumb duo. I have high expectation for these IDs, especially the thumb Nursefather Rodion. But let's start with our apprentice Heathcliff. He's got 3 main skills with a skill 3-2, just for unbreakable coins. How fun. And 2 defense skills, as with most things. I will protect is probably assist defense, and measuring blade reach is probably his actual defense. Yeah, look, assist defense exclusive skill, like during the Valencia and Lucio fight, where he used the gloom defense to protect. Anyways, let's take a look at skills over here. It's actually a pretty simple coin page, so I'm happy. Anyways, this is very simple enough. 2 coin skill, a la Spada de Palermo, Portuguese accent. Gain coin power for every X burn plus tremor on target. Inflict burn and inflict tremor. Simple enough. Basic skill 1. Then we have skill 2. Gain coin power for every burn and tremor on the target. We actually have plenty of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they all gain coin power for this. And here's one of his gimmicks here. The dual escalates. We'll get to that later, especially when we get to the passives page. But that's one of his main gimmicks, is that he ramps up as he escalates a duel. Ooh, this is nice. Inflicting burn and burn count. Then tremor and tremor count. This is actually surprisingly nice having this. Yeah, okay, and then maturing textbook, again, another one of his unique status effects. And can trigger tremor burst if they have the dual escalates. So it inflicts tremor count, basically refilling this. Pretty cool. And we have his skill 3, his main one at least. Oh, okay, so that's how you get here. Basically, if the more dual escalates you have, the more it goes to the skill 3 too. Yeah. Okay, so it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, etc. And once you get to the point where it's high enough, it uses more than that. And yeah, probably a couple more potency count. So once you really ramp up, you get into burn. So these will be really good burn IDs as well as tremor IDs, which is really nice. Yep, maturing textbook again. Then convert all of the skill to unbreakable coins, but the other one already has a breakable coin, so you don't have to worry about that. Burn and burn count, tremor count, do this. And then unfortunately there's only amplitude conversion into tremor scorch instead of the entanglement, which would have constantly built on these statuses, but it's to be expected. This is not Lucio himself. Then tremor burst again, and then trigger tremor burst again if it's there. Let's take a look at the skill 3-2. Gains attack weight based on maturing textbook minus X, probably 2 or so, I'd say. Then when targeting enough targets does enough damage, and for every excess attack weight, it deals excess damage, which is normal for that. And then eventually consumes all of the dual escalates, which is an inflictable thing, and then gains maturing textbook. And if you gain enough of it, it'll power up this too, I believe, yeah. And it just keeps getting more powerful for each maturing textbook. So he ramps up as the fight goes on. And then, yep, we have Tremor Scorch again, the thumb's unique status. Yeah, this is very important. Gains coin power for every X maturing textbook. So that here, these two are really fueling the maturing textbook into the Cincinnati de Servo. Horrible pronunciation, by the way. And let's take a look at the defense. Deal more damage for the dual escalates, and gain final power, which is slightly different, but still good for a counter at least. And then here's the assist defense, which makes him gain protection and heal SP. So hypothetically, if this guy were to win on one-off clashes, then he could start using the assist defense and really heal Rodion quickly enough where it becomes less of an issue. Now let's go to the passives page to fully check on this. Where is the passives page? Here we go. Okay, here's the Duello Disperato. attack skill against enemy. If the target is defeated while having the duel escalates, he gains Maturing Textbook. Again, Maturing Textbook is one of those things that makes him significantly more powerful and be able to deal excess damage as he goes on. So getting that is very important. If the main target is defeated, inflict X. The duel escalates on the next target. If there is a clash, inflict a Y on the main target. Probably more more than before, but it could always be less. And then, yeah, this guy is really good at healing SP, especially that if you're clashing with the right target that has the dual escalates, plus the assist defense, they're going to have pretty high SP as a duo team. And then here's another passive. If the House of Spiders nerves on the field, activate the following. That has Eye of Pre-Recognition, so she's not always going to have it. Hits with the base skill, follow up with a skill 2 as an unopposed attack. I guess this season really is the unopposed attack season. And then when she does it over, that's how he gains assist defense. When she has overheat, he gains assist defense, and then they start healing SP even more, which is crazy. And here's the Ryosha thing, the Saikai. She can inflict Tremor and Tremor Burst. So, hypothetically, she could be on the Scorch team because she inflicts Burn. And then, once he gets low, you could kill Heathcliff. And then, yeah, there's a lot of team options with the House of Spiders IDs. Okay, this is probably the passive that you need resources for, which has to deal with his two main statuses, Maturing Textbook and the Dual Escalates. Basically, it's just do more damage, gain Clash Power, base skills gain base power, and then Severed Tendon. Only time we see this, but that's if you have the resources. And then basically more damage, more power, upscale the more Textbook and Dual Escalates you have. On the main target, of course. And then take less damage for every that. So, as long as the assist defense having protection, he's going to get bulkier as it goes on. So, I expect like 2 stagger bars, maybe 1. Okay, and here's the support passive. You don't really need to see this, but y'all wait. If he's dead, basically, then helps Caposal, Sinclair, and Rodion, because when they're faster, they gain burn count. They inflict burn count, and they inflict more burn count, tremor count if there's only one enemy, which is good for boss fights. He's probably going to be very good in MDs, considering the amount of conditionals he has for damage. But there's a limit on the dual escalates. I'd probably say that's on like 3 if I had to take a guess, but I could be completely wrong. And then the Severed Tendon he inflicts makes the enemies lose base power. Of course, it expires at turn end, but it's still good. And then base skills gain more damage, and then gain up to XX for turn. I assume this is its own separate thing, so he does even more damage. I'd say this is 2, because you don't want too much. So overall, if we are to go as thing, I think the overall plan here is to be completely tied in with Rodion, but really try to get as much Maturing Textbook as possible. And so, wait. Let me see, which are the ones that inflict the dual escalates? Yeah, it's probably... It's here somewhere. Wait, how does he inflict the dual escalates? It's in his passive page, hold up. Here we go. Yeah, he basically inflicts it on a clash or an unopposed attack when it isn't defeated. So I'd say hypothetically, go through these 2 skills a little bit, but probably focus more on the skill ones, and maybe Measuring Blade Reach as well, because you want to build maturing Textbook and the dual escalates. And eventually, once you gain enough, you can go to here and use it directly And even if if you were to have enough, you can go to the skill 3. Additionally, when Rodion finally has enough her pre-recognition to be overheated, you can go to the I will protect, gaining protection SP throws, changing it into a tank ID. So overall, a versatile ID that focuses on protection, his main status, which is Tremor Scorch, which is a broken status if used right, because, well, you can add a bunch of count to burn. And overall, this is a good ID. Expected from an apprentice, but probably better than most apprentices. Now, I think it's time for the main event here. We ready? Okay, hold up. It's actually taking longer than I thought it would. Anyways, here we go for the main ID of the day. The House of Spiders, the Thumb Nursefather Rodion. Ooh, we don't want to look at that yet, but yeah, here are the skills pages, and this is what she does. Well, like most of her House of Spiders allies, she has a lot of skills, that being 8 total, plus including her defense, 2 defense, one of which I cannot say. But here are the defenses, and the goal is to build up to disposal, which, if you remember, does like 600 damage. Well, on Valentina at least. But we have Colby the Taglo, Agali Blast a hole through ya. Word I cannot pronounce, but De Elefante, De Coniglio, De Servo, and finally Disposal. So let's go see if it's the same as Valentina. Already I can see a lot more damage conditionals than Heathcliff. And she also has poise, which is interesting too, because she's not technically a poise ID, but she still has poise and can make use of it, which is nice, because poise does even more damage. And for MDs, she won't need a lot of ego gifts to refill her poise. Here we go, some more coin power. Let's take a look at this. Yep, coin power. Coin power. I'll assume all of them have coin power. Let's check. Base power. This one's different. Coin power. And then, well, this one doesn't have coin power, but it has final power, so, slightly different. Anyways, back to the skills. We have Burn, Tremor, Burn Count, Tremor Count, which is good. And it interacts with their unique status effect, Eye of Pre-Recognition, by losing it. And for every stack she loses, she actually does more damage, which is, I don't think Valentina had that, so interesting to see how people manage the Eye of Pre-Recognition. Yeah, here's another gain fountain of power for each poise. Okay, and here's our other thing, acceleration round. Basically, if she doesn't have that, she'll use her Sister Not to Servo instead, which doesn't really use ammo, but instead does this. Yeah, no. It's also, I think this is probably going to be more powerful as well. Anyways, both of these have the conditionals to lose Eye of Pre-Recognition, but deal more damage for every X sack lost. Then they spend acceleration round, trigger burn, tremor, tremor count, tremor, and then eventually it triggers tremor burst. This, on the other hand, gains points count, which is very interesting. I assume it must be hard to lose the ammo then, because they really don't want her to gain too much pose, I assume, but who knows. Then, if it's an overheat state, gain final power, convertible, coin set, unbreakable. That's interesting. I suppose then the Eye of Pre-Recognition is a defense state versus an attack state with as much damage as possible. But we'll see. And then she gains more poise, inflicts burn, inflicts tremor and tremor counts. Then she triggers amplitude conversion into tremor scourge. I think Capo Morsol only had this on her skill 3, so this is good because we're getting more tremor scorch infliction along with Lucio. So we'll be constantly maintaining the status for the team. Oh, assuming you put these with the other 2 tremor IDs. Okay, then we have trigger tremor burst, reduce tremor count. Then, if they have enough tremor, trigger another tremor burst. These IDs have a lot of tremor burst, so there's a lot of opportunity for extra damage because Scorch does extra damage for every burn and tremor. So it's a Nursefather. I shouldn't be surprised at this point, but still, so many damage conditionals and so much damage in general. Anyways, another Poise conditional, which is crazy. She's technically a triple hybrid ID, although she isn't on paper. Anyways, then lose up to Eye of Pre-Recognition, spend acceleration rounds to inflict burn and tremor and their counts, and then trigger amplitude conversion to tremor scorch, then trigger. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is like Capital Mercel skill 3, where basically it spends the round. Yeah, and if it spends 3, then it triggers Tremor Burst, and triggers Tremor Burst again 3 more times, doing even more damage. Now, here's her counter that I cannot say, or else I'll probably be censored. But gains final power for every exit burn plus tremor on the target. Loses Eye of Pre-Recognition. So maybe the strategy to do as much damage with her isn't to gain pre-recognition stacks, no, but later, when she has more SP, to do much damage as possible. Be interesting. Anyways, if this unit has X minus acceleration around, reload acceleration around to Y. So that's how she reloads as well. And then she inflicts burn and tremor. I was thinking there might be this funny glitch with her where she has pre-recognition and Ryoshu uses Slay the Heavens, and Kim Ji-hoon forgot to make that not happen because it's a special evade, but that would be funny to see it happen. Anyways, let's go to Disposal. The really powerful skill from before. Also, all of these are slash skills, by the way, I should mention. And here's another one of her things. Game target. Basically acts like the index's, well, the index target. That was a bad comparison. Anyways, if they have an acceleration round, gain coin power, and then gain final power for that. And if they kill the game target, you can use Disposal again. So you could just keep reusing it if you're getting enough kills, which is ridiculous, considering that it's 5 unbreakable coins and how much it did last time. But let's see. Inflict Tremor, Burn, Burn Tremor, Burn and Tremor count. Well, she seems to be pretty good with count for Burn and Tremor. And then here's another amplitude conversion, third one of the kit, by the way. And then spends acceleration rounds and deal more damage for every acceleration round that would be spent. And then, again, like Capital Merceau, goes again and inflicts Tremor Burst and spends it. Oh, I meant spends Tremor count. And finally, the thing she will probably be most known for is pre-recognition. I expect this to be an absolutely broken evade, just like, well, Muller Boat Works Ismail, but even better. It would be crazy if this had a base of like 10 and had a coin power of 8, but it could be even higher. And successfully evading all coins on skill, she uses her other skill, the Inclashable, which does a Tremor Burst, mind you. That's a lot of Tremor Bursts if you add it up. And she gains coin power for every Eye of Pre-Recognition, and gains base power for every extra Eye of Pre-Recognition. So this results to a pretty broken evade if you use it properly and manage the Eye of Pre-Recognition well. Then she gains coin pounds, gain poise, heals SP, and loses Eye of Pre-Recognition. So it's obviously meant that they're going to go back and forth. I assume she starts with a lot of it, but so far she doesn't have a way to regain it, the Eye of Pre-Recognition, but we'll see. Alright, on to the passives page. Yeah. Okay, this is exactly what I thought. Let's start with the first passive, the Eye of Pre-Recognition, probably her most important gimmick. She starts by gaining probably the maximum amount of Eye of Pre-Recognition, and once she reaches 0, it gets converted to Overheat, which starts her more damagey phase. And then if they have the Eye of Pre-Recognition, a clash gain accelerating future with every clash. And she also loses it per clash, but we'll get to that later. attacked by it, this is the main gimmick. When attacked by an unopposed attack or losing a clash against an attack skill, activate the pre-recognition skill, most likely evading the attack. And they'll only lose the eye pre-recognition with every single clash. I assume she loses it when she clashes, like the advent of each clash, like with each coin, but who knows. And then if this unit, yep, she loses eye of pre-recognition if it gets attacked. So I assume she starts with 30. It's probably 1 or 2 for each of these X's and variables, but we'll have to see. I assume she loses it in probably 5 turns, but could be more. Who knows? Yep. Converted to overheat, then she gets to use her overpowered disposal. And then, if you remember, if she kills a target, she gets another disposal, and then gets another disposal, and another disposal. And she reloads as well. So now she has ammo, which fuels her disposal, making the disposal do even more damage. This is going to be a monster of an ID. I've said this before, but it's going to happen again. Each one of the Nursefathers seems to get stronger and stronger as time goes on. Anyways, here we go. Oh, and this is only when it converts, so she can't gain disposal while, like, totally having the eye of pre-recognition, but still good overall. And once she loses the eye of pre-recognition to overheat, she also gains Shin Disgrace. And then if she's staggered, she gains Shin, like Rian. And if Heathcliff is defeated, she also gains Shin. And if he's defeated when she substitutes, she has Shin already, which is crazy. And like all the Nursefathers, when she gets staggered, she unstaggers. And she also gains Poison Count. Shame of the Famiglia Bognatelli. She gains Poison Count for every acceleration round spent. So, lots of poise, more damage. And when she uses that, the attack doesn't get cancelled when she's out of acceleration round. It probably just does less damage. Right, no poise. How sad. Your dungeons are very sad. Alright. And if she has disposal, she will inflict a game mark then and only then. Which is alright, I guess. And then she'll inflict it with the lowest HP. And then here's the Saikai. If defeated, Ryoshi will gain Entanglement. Defense skills gain Coin Power, which, she has her Evade, so that gets even more powerful. And base attack skills do more damage against enemies with shield, which makes Ryoshi even more powerful. But I please beg y'all, do not feed Rodion directly to Ryoshi immediately. There is potential. And there's La Spada de Palermo. This unit has X plus acceleration round. Skill of 3 gains coin power and deals more damage. This is probably her resource one. Deal more damage based on using attack skills for every X burn on the main target. Shield, even more damage. I can see there being a way where you want Heathcliff to be on the field, and you want Ryoshi killing him, and then getting Rodion on the field where she gains Shin, and no, because that would be enough IDs for a Mirror Dungeon team. You have Rodion, Capo Salts, Sinclair, the Thumb Sinclair, and Ryoshi plus other IDs. You could probably have a full Burn Tremor team. See, set allies. Thumb Identity gain haste as well, and Trigger Tremor Burst gain offense level up because more damage. She doesn't need that. Eye of Recognition can lose up to X per turn. I'd say it's probably 5 because they don't want to 5 or 6 because they don't want it going too fast. Overheat, gain offense level and lose defense level. So it's a glass cannon build once she gets there. I'd say at 10 convert to Eye of Pre-Recognition and each turn gain like 3 or 4. Accelerating future, deal more damage for using base skills for each X stack because she needs more damage multipliers, of course. Gain clash power for every X stack, and then X stack base skills gain point power. Skill and this effect expires. So basically, in a clash, she gets even more powerful, but not necessarily the skills themselves. Then game target deals more damage because she needs more damage multipliers. Gain min and max speed for a Shin. Inflict additional tremor and bird potency and count using her skills, fueling her tremor burst even more. And she deals more damage for every poise potency because she needs more damage. And then her acceleration ammo is unique ammo and spent when using skills, just like Kaposol. Let's take a look at her full skill page now. Ready? So ideally, I think the way to go here is, well, I think that you don't want to lose ammo as much as possible. But I sense two paths here. You start off the round, obviously you go like that, but that's the direct connection, so that one's going to stay. But I think one path is simply cycling through these two and the counter when necessary. No, just cycling through these two for now. And then when you need ammo to get this, and eventually when you have the skill 3 and powerful enough, go for the skill 3. And then once you start running out of ammo and Eye of Pre-Recognition, then the identity change to a different thing. We go here for the skill 2, inflicting more damage. Instead of having the extra tremor burst, you get more disposal as well. And probably this right here is her evade everything and try not to get damaged phase, while this is her these skills or do as much damage as possible phase. And I think the counter might be especially helpful because it reloads her ammo, which can be used for disposal again. And yeah, that's a full recap of these two IDs. Lucky, have fun pulling, because these IDs are necessary for the Tremor Scorch team and will make or break probably one of the best teams we'll ever see.